All right, so welcome to the lesson. This is a speculation using some science and Bible knowledge, information from the genealogies, and some other historical data to show that it's possible that Methuselah was not the oldest person in the Bible. So starting out in Genesis chapter 5, here's where the genealogies are. And so you start out with Adam. He was 130. Then he lived 800 more years, and then that means that he lived to be 930 years when he died. And all through Genesis chapter 5, that's where we get this information. So we're just going to list it off here, just so everyone can see. So Adam, then down to Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, then the father of Enoch. Enoch, as you'll recall, was 365 when he was translated, or then he was no longer. Then Methuselah, who lived to be 969 years. Lamech and Noah, Shem. And so then we would move on to Genesis chapter 11 to the next set of genealogies. But first important part is, what is a year? A year is one time around the sun, period. It's very important to recognize that this is what we're talking about, not 365 days of 24-hour periods. Just one time around the sun. So, how old were the youngest fathers in recorded history? Here's a series of people, the top 8 youngest. There are 14, a couple are 13, some are 12. Apparently there's an 11-year-old and maybe a 9-year-old they were fathers. They were that young, right? So, what if science is right? That an asteroid hit the earth to kill the dinosaurs, but that asteroid happened to be at Noah's flood, right? So what we're trying to say is that the earth was moving at a certain speed and maybe 5 times as fast. Why am I saying 5 times as fast? Well, I'll get to that. But there's the asteroid. Massive asteroid caused Noah's flood. That asteroid slowed down the earth after the impact because it was a direct impact and the earth was just moving, and now it's moving slower. So if that was the case, why did I come up with 5 times? Well, here's why. These two guys were 65 years old, according to the biblical thing. But if they were 13-year-olds, then it was moving 5 times as fast as it is now. And Methuselah, then being 187 when he had his first child, would have actually been 37 years old. A 37-year-old, according to how we are. And then as a 969-year-old person who died, he was actually 193. He was like an equivalent 193-year-old person based on nowadays. Could be. We don't know any 193-year-olds nowadays, but that's only like 1.5 times as old as the oldest people on record. So now we move on to Genesis chapter 11, right? And we have a list of patriarchs here. And it doesn't give us a total, but it gives us how old they were when they had a child and how much longer they lived. So you can add that up. And you find that Shem, Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, they're all having kids. We'll come back to Eber being 464. Peleg was 30. Ru was 32. Serug, 30. When they had a child, Nahor, 29. As you can see here that there's Terah and Abram, but things seem to slow down throughout the course of this as well. So there was maybe a period of slowing that happened. But let's just say that if one of these guys was 29, but they were really a 13-year-old, then the speed would have been 2.24 times what it is now, not 5 times. And so Eber, who died at 464, would have been the equivalent of a 207-year-old. So Eber may have been 207-year-old when he died, based on standard age of nowadays time. And Methuselah was 193. So Eber, theoretically, could have been older than Methuselah in terms of, say, how many minutes he lived, or how many equivalent years to how we live today. And there's a summary. Eber was 207, Methuselah was 193, equivalent years to our years now, based on asteroid impacts changing the speed of the Earth going around the sun at the time of the creation and the Bible stories. Boom. I know it's a lot for people to take, but if you look at other passages in the Bible, like in Revelation 8, chapter 8, there we are talking about a great mountain burning with fire thrown into the sea. That's a massive asteroid, it sounds like to me. And then what else happened? Joshua, the sun stood still. That means something had to have happened with the earth rotation. And there we are in 2 Kings, sun going back 10 steps. So, plenty of things.